Right, welcome back to part 2 of the Honda CBR500R review. This review I'm going to be doing more of like a how user friendly is a bike in a urban environment. So I'm hoping that in the city of Southampton I'll be able to get a fair bit of traffic. We can see what its filtering capabilities are like and see if we can make some progress if you were to be using this bike as your daily commuter, because let's face it, a 500cc is absolutely ideal cost wise for commuting in and out of cities, in and out of towns. Now the first thing we're going to look into is the wind mirrors for knowing what is around. I've got relatively good visibility. Right, I've got a car on my offside, it's in my blind. Okay, so it was only briefly in my blind spot for a fraction of a second. So the wind mirrors are positioned quite nicely to allow you to have good visibility. It is a low bike, so you don't have a high advantage over the traffic ahead, unlike say an adventure motorcycle. But where it makes up for is its light manoeuvrability. You can nip in and out of traffic very comfortably. Now I am hoping that we get some traffic because this ain't looking promising. Now bearing in mind this is only a 500cc motorcycle, it will still beat pretty much any car off the lights. So as we are here, if I was filtering, if I'm at the front of traffic, if I want to pull away quickly, I can make sure that I've got a nice gap between me and the traffic as I pull away. Of its sub 200 kilogram frame, pulls away nicely, straight up to the speed limit. Now when you're riding around cities at slower speeds, the windscreen there does actually kick the air up nicely just over you. You don't really feel anything in your chest at all. However, when you get on the motorway, and I'll take it on the motorway in a second, that is a different story altogether. You end up getting absolutely battered by the wind, and it is in the Shoei GT Air 2 helmet, it is really noisy. You've got to get right down here to actually get rid of all that air in your helmet. It's not a pleasant experience. Right, here we go. So first bit of filtering, see how we get on. Nice and easy. I mean, there is quite a bit of a gap there, so I can't really say too much about the filtering capability there. However, I didn't find it too difficult. I think in essence this bike is going to be a brilliant commuter. You're going to get through the traffic, you're going to get to your destination easy. Now the seat comfort on this is also really nice. I've not got any problems at all with getting a sore backside, and I've been riding this yesterday for a good several hours and not once did I ever think, oh, I need to get up and stretch. So the seat's brilliant. It's really padded, got no dramas whatsoever on a long distance with this. Now the other issue that I've got with this bike is a lot of YouTubers will say, oh, you can take this bike tour and you can do this on this bike, that on that bike, and yeah, I'm not going to deny that. Pretty much any motorcycle you are going to be able to go touring on. The wind resistance on this bike is horrific. Like I was just mentioning, in the areas where you're going to be doing long distance on motorways, you do not want to be taking this on the motorways for a long period of time, because you will end up struggling with the noise in your helmet. It's vile on this, especially on my helmet. So yes, you could go touring on this bike, but it wouldn't be very comfortable noise wise. If you stuck to slower roads, yeah, definitely you'd be able to. I'm actually going to leave these tucked in, but as you can see, I mean, look at this, gridlocked, and the CB is just the perfect size to nip safely and comfortably between traffic. So if you ever think you're going to get held up on your commute, go for a small bike like the CB500 or CBR500 and you will not be held up at all. Look at this. And I've said it before, but this exhaust, it sounds phenomenal. for a 500cc motorcycle, this exhaust is awesome. Now the negatives about this bike, I am going to struggle to find them, because let's face it, if you buy this bike, you're buying it knowing full well that you're buying a 500cc baby sports bike. So you're not going to have the big budget, a premium motorcycle. You're not going to have all the gizmos, the gadgets, the tech that the TFT comes with. Well, you're not even going to have a TFT to start with. You got an LCD display, which is absolutely adequate for the budget of this bike. Seats comfy, mirrors are fantastic, comfort of the general bike is spot on. It's nice and low to the ground, so you're not going to struggle putting your feet down at any point. And I'm not saying this because I've got a good working relation with Honda. I genuinely cannot find any reason to knock this motorcycle. For a beginner biker, it's perfect. It's going to build your confidence up. Yes, if you're older and you got a full license, you can jump straight onto a big motorcycle and you're not going to have any issues. Just got to be mindful that if you don't twist your wrist hard enough and you're sensible, you're going to be fine. But for me, where this bike really does well is the styling. I mean, it looks the part. It is cracking. Now I am going to leave my wind mirrors folded up just for this part of the ride, just to see if I can easily filter through a little bit more traffic. I mean, when you got a big bike like the Africa Twin, certain filtering capabilities go straight out the window and you're going to struggle badly. But so far, so good with this bike. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is just talk you through a little bit more about the Honda CBR500R. So, we're looking at a ground clearance of 130mm. The headlights are all LEDs, front and rear. The curb weight is 192 kilograms. You've got a seat height of 785mm, which is fantastic because anyone can pretty much get their feet flat-footed on this thing, and pretty much both feet flat-footed. You've got a trail distance of 102mm. The wheelbase comes in at 1410mm, and also you got a fuel tank capacity of 17.1 litres. Now when we come down to the engine, we're looking at a 67mm bore against a 66.6mm stroke. The compression ratio on this one comes in at 10:7:1. You've got an engine displacement of 471cc. It's out of a 4-stroke double overhead cam liquid cooled parallel twin engine. Now obviously it's a 6-speed manual gearbox with a chain drive. This one also comes with the Yoshimura exhaust. You've got a 2-channel ABS system. The front brake is a 320mm by 5mm disc with a 2-piston caliper, and the rear is a 240mm 5mm disc with a single piston caliper. The front suspension, you've got conventional telescopic 41mm preload adjustable forks, and then the rear suspension you've got a ProLink mono with a 5-stage preload adjuster, and a steel square pipe swing arm. The front tyre comes in at 120 by 70 17-inch wheel, and the rear tyre is a 160/60 and again 17-inch wheel. You've got a multi-spoke cast aluminium front and rear. Now this bike, as it stands without the exhaust modification, comes in at £6,399, and the 2022 model, because this is actually a 2021 model, comes in at £6,599 starting. That works out about £89 a month with Honda's finance agreements. Now there are again certain things that Honda are just, I don't get why they're doing it. For instance, the brake lever has got an adjustable reach, which is brilliant. If you've got small hands, large hands, you can adjust the reach so you can comfortably use your brake lever. However, when it comes down to the clutch, it's not an adjustable clutch lever. So it's set in one position and you cannot adjust it. I don't know why they're doing that, but just put an adjustable clutch lever. A lot of other manufacturers are putting adjustable clutch and brake levers. It's something simple like that which makes a bike very customizable and user-friendly for the riding experience. If your hands are very large, you've got a good distance before before you can pull the clutch in. So that would be a nice feature Honda could kind of sort out a little bit. The front brake is a single disc, and that is very, very good. I've given it a good pull a few times, and yeah, Honda have done well with the single Nissan front brake. The rear brake, let's put that on now, 30 miles an hour. Oh, in fact the ABS kick on a little bit there, had a little bite, and yep, that's very good. Front and rear together, wow, yep, they work. Don't worry, there's no one behind me, but they work lovely. Right, just coming into 40, I've got no one close up behind. I'm rolling at 20 miles an hour, second gear, pull away, and we're up. Again, it performs very, very well. I highly recommend this bike for your consideration if you are looking at a 500cc sports bike, sports style motorcycle, just to get yourself on two wheels. Obviously there's a lot of different motorcycle license categories per different country, so this is definitely compliant with younger age riders in the UK. You can have it detuned. This is obviously, sorry, you can have it restricted. This is obviously de-restricted for Honda's demonstrator, so by the time you've got to grips with riding and you're over the age, you can have the restrictor lifted. It's still going to give you enough power to get out and about until you decide that you want to go for a bigger motorcycle. If you were to put additional features on it, like a set of Oxford heated grips for instance, it's just going to make the creature comforts very nice for you going forward, and you will get many, many years out of this. Security wise, it's got the Honda integrated security system, so that will also help lower your premium. It's obviously got steering lock. All motorcycles come with steering locks these days, but I would highly recommend getting yourself a disc lock, a chain. It just gives you added peace of mind, because there are those scroats out there that end up stealing our pride and joy. So anything we can do just to remove the temptation and make it a little bit harder for them to steal, it's obviously going to lower your premium if you get like Thatcham approved ones. So do your research, have a look into what your insurance company approve, and it will knock down your insurance by having a decent approved security device. Now another good thing about this bike is the smoothness in the engine. It really feels like a 4-cylinder. It's so buttery smooth and deep with that exhaust, that Yoshimura exhaust, that in all fairness I had to double take at one point. I had to just check the headers and see if there was 4 cylinders, because it really does feel like I'm on a 4-cylinder motorcycle, obviously with not a lot of power, but yeah, it doesn't come across grunty and torquey and horrible like some 2-cylinders. Honda have really made this bike very well. Now we're heading up to the motorway, so I will take it one junction, just let you guys see what it's like on the motorway. Internationals, 40 miles an hour, rolling on. And again, it gets there effortlessly. Now apologies if you struggle to hear me. This is what I'm going to demonstrate as well on the bike, that although you have this windscreen, it doesn't really do a lot for you at speed. Tipping in, you can really feel the short wheelbase. It wobbles a little bit. So we're up to 50 miles an hour so far, and I can really feel that wind noise. I can really hear that wind. I don't know about yourselves on the microphone, but if I was to sustain a 70 mile an hour ride for an hour or 2 hours, it would get very uncomfortable on my ears. However, if I drop down to this position, the wind will go straight up and over the windscreen, and I can ride in a bit more comfort. But that is not a comfortable position to be in. I could not sustain that for any longer than what I've done there. I'm not really getting much wind in my chest. It's more the noise. If the noise had gone, the wind noise, it would be quite comfortable. I mean, compared to like a naked motorcycle, the wind resistance in your chest is absolutely fine. It's all up in the helmet that it's becoming uncomfortable. So yeah, it's a bit of a thumbs down for me on this one. However, that's not to say that it might just be my helmet. My helmet might not be good for this motorcycle. If you end up with a different helmet, you may find that it works a lot better for you. But yeah, I'm not feeling it, not at all. So in conclusion to riding the Honda CBR500R, I think it is an absolutely fantastic small engined motorcycle. It is going to make the rider a very happy person. It's good for those experienced riders who just want to downscale their motorcycle and have a smaller engine for, I guess, keeping your speed down if you've got a bit of a happy right throttle, and also if you're just wanting to kind of scale back on the cost of things. It's reasonably priced for a brand new bike. Obviously it's going to be a lot more cheaper to run than a conventional larger motorcycle. And like I said, also for those people who are just starting out their motorcycle riding adventure and just want a fun, very, very good looking motorcycle. I think also this has even got the potential to be used as a track bike for those who want to enter around the 500cc class, because the capabilities that this bike has got for putting a massive smile on your face is endless. For such a small engine motorcycle, I'm really enjoying this bike, and you will too. So please get down to Crescent Honda in Southampton, have a chat to Justin, have a chat to Steve, take this one out for a test ride, and if you like it, hey, put an offer down. You could be riding around in the same bike that I've ridden for YouTube. Your bike will be famous on YouTube. But until next time, this has been me, RevZolutions, on the Honda CBR500R. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, ride safe, and I'll see you guys soon.